Now this, look at this headline. It says, weaponizing of government must end, and Republicans, Dems should work together to make it happen. Carl Szabo wrote that piece, and he joins us now this morning. Carl, great to see you. I mean, we're talking about protecting free speech. It's got to be a bipartisan issue, right?
You'd think so, and thanks for having me. Revelations that our government is actively working to suppress free speech should horrify all Americans. And as you point out, it shouldn't be a partisan issue. It's a bipartisan concern. So what are we learning? Well, over the past week, we've seen hearings about Twitter and about the FBI and how they work to suppress and coerce social media platforms into suppressing speech and discussion on the internet. Stuff like Hunter Biden laptop stories, stuff about the origins of COVID, stuff even about reopening schools. And these are the types of conversation that we need to know about and we need to have. But we can't just have Congress out there doing these hearings. We actually need to take the next step and stop this type of bad action. And how do we do that? We do that with legislation and laws that have actual teeth. Now, fortunately, we do have legislation in Congress to look at this. One example is the Protecting Free Speech from Government Interference Act. It's from Representatives Comer, McMorris, Rogers, and Jordan. And what it does is it actually goes after the real problem, after the paychecks and the pensions of federal employees who are putting politics and partisan wokeism ahead of doing their jobs. We have seen time and time again how federal employees are just willing to blame the agency. But you know what? This legislation makes them actually pay for what they're doing.
But you know, Carl, you mentioned the word woke, and that comes from the GOP a lot, but the Democrats dismiss it as being just a fascination or an obsession from the GOP, that it's really not that much of an issue. So when you talk about both sides working together, that's not going to be as easy as you make it sound.
You know, I actually think it will be. One of the things that we've learned is it's not just Democrats leaning on social media platforms, for example, to suppress or promote speech, but some Republicans are doing it too. And the thing is, there will be a Republican in the White House, and there will be Republican control of the FBI. And Democrats will rue the day that they didn't take this opportunity to join hands, reach across the aisle, and stand up for all American people, not just a political party. So I am actually optimistic that Democrats will look past partisan politics and recognize their own self-interest in advancing these types of steps.
I wouldn't hold my breath, but I'm with you, Carl. Another one for you. Senator Ted Cruz launching an investigation into the big tech over algorithm censorship. Listen to this and I'll get your comment.
We are going to take the Twitter files. We're going to take what Elon Musk has made public and use that as a roadmap to go after Facebook, to go after Google, to go after YouTube, to go after TikTok, to go after all of big tech that is trying to silence conservatives. And we are going to bring accountability. We're going to bring transparency. We're going to shine a light and expose their collusion with Democrats and the deep state.
You know, Carl, we've seen that collusion in those Twitter document dumps. I mean, you know, Americans should surely be very concerned about government collusion on censoring social media, right?
You know, what concerns me is the government coercion of social media. So one of the things that Elon Musk has rightfully brought to light is that our own government, this gets back to the weaponization issue, our own government was leaning on these platforms to promote and remove content. And at the end of the day, one of the things is these businesses, they are subject to the whims of a White House and a federal agency that has essentially been unchecked for the past 2 years. And that's the type of power that allows this type of government suppression of free speech. And so I'm thankful that Senator Ted Cruz is looking into this. But what I'd also like to see him do is take the next step, introduce legislation to make sure that government employees work for all Americans, not just a political party. Because at the end of the day, if all we do is have hearings, that's a good start. But we need to take the next step. We need to claw back some of that money, use the power of the purse to prevent bad federal agencies from keeping afloat bad federal employees. So there's a lot of options for Congress to take the next steps because we shouldn't expect it to necessarily come from the White House or the federal agency. Congress is going to do its oversight job, write laws, and use the power of the purse to hold this administration accountable.
Very good. Yeah, talk is cheap for sure. We need action. I think that's very true. Carl Szabo, thank you so much, Carl, for talking with us today. We do appreciate it.